All right. Wow. Thank you. Welcome to Calvin Dean's Fantasy Football Saturday. And, man, we have a great show for you guys. How about that Thursday night football, guys? Wow. The Bears winning their first game in 347 days. Wow. I mean, they were on a 14-game losing streak, and then they meet the Washington Commanders, who came to not play. I mean, they just didn't come to play. And I'm not just saying the players. I am saying the coaches did not come to play. And there's a reason for this. Ready? There's a reason for why I'm saying this. Look at Justin Fields' numbers. He threw the ball, his completion percentage was 52%. 52%. And I know he went off, but who did he go off on? 82% of all his yards was to DJ Moore. And then half of the yards was yak, yards after catch, with DJ Moore. Yards, half of that. Yes, half the yards that DJ Moore had, which was like 200 and some odd yards, right? Half of them was yak, yards after catch. So think about this. First half, what was I? Blowing them out, right? Guys, second half, why aren't you doubling DJ Moore? Why aren't you? Anyone? Bueller? Anyone? Yeah, you gotta laugh. You gotta laugh at these people. I mean, come on, man. Really? I mean, Washington Commanders coaches should be reprimanded, sat down, money taken away from them for a terrible defense. I mean, they have, all the components. They do. They have a great defensive line, but that's all they were started doing. They just was rushing four, and they were getting beat. And, it's time to change it up, Hurry Fields. Get him out of the pocket, hurry him, and then have someone just shadow him. Guys, terrible game for the Commanders, but, I mean, and Justin Fields really isn't all that and then some. He just isn't, guys. Now, for fantasy football, owners, of course, kudos to you that you started Justin Fields. I had DJ Moore on, I picked him up out of 62 teams. Yes, I have 62 fantasy football teams. Yes, 62, right? I thought I had 60, but I counted them yesterday, and there's 62. My bad. I picked him up probably 22 out of the 62 teams, and I played him. So, I mean, with NFL, I got 50 points. With Yahoo, I think I got 45 points. And ESPN, I don't know how many points. I was like 40, 50 points or something like that. Anyway, he is definitely their only hope. You have Mooney. Mooney is good, but, I mean, you have to rely on Justin Fields. I mean, hey, Justin Fields can come out and ball. No one has ever, disputed that. I don't dispute it. I think the kid can ball. But he needs to do it on a consistent basis. Can he ball like that 13 games out of the season? All I want to see is if he can ball like that 13 games out of 17 games, right? Then I'm gonna go kudos to Fields. He's the next Chicago Bear quarterback. He's it. But he hasn't done that. And that's the only bad thing with Justin Fields. He hasn't been consistent. Example, Brock Purdy. I mean, and I know everyone's, Brock Purdy, he's a situation man. The only reason why he's doing well is because of the team and Kyle Shanahan. But look at the tapes, guys. Look at the tapes. Stop saying it. It kills me. Every person that says that, it just kills me, because obviously they know nothing about football. Nothing. Yeah, I can see, but he does it so well. Kyle Shanahan will have, a play where Purdy will look right. He'll have three guys doing crosses, and then he'll look right. He'll have the defense go that way, and then McCaffrey be on the left-hand side cutting in, and it'd be a touchdown. And I mean, the plays are drawn up well, but he has to get the ball there, right? And this weekend, it's going to be a great test for Brock Purdy against the Dallas Cowboy defense. It's going to be a great test because they're really good. And guess what? The San Francisco 49ers defense is really good. Dak Prescott has a problem with what? Turning the ball over. Think about that one. Now, if you go to mano, defense against defense, it's pretty even. It really is. But, guess what, guys? Guess who the San Francisco 49ers picked up off of waivers, guys. I just, it's sick. It's sick. Gregory. I mean, come on, from the Broncos. I mean, come on, really? Yes, Randy Gregory, offensive linebacker. Excuse me, outside linebacker, offensive linebacker. I have no idea what that is. All right, the Broncos traded off outside linebacker, Randy Gregory to the 49ers. Wow. I mean, 49ers got even better. Man, it just... But anyway, make it... guys, this is going to be a great game. But, you have to start certain players. This is all about fantasy football. Jimmy G is clearing concussion protocol. He cleared it. So he will be ready to play this Monday night against the Packers. Now, David Bakhtiari is undergoing knee surgery to repair cartilage issue. And he did confirm he's out for the season. So, he didn't want to play this year anyway. So, I don't think he's going to be on the Green Bay Packers next year. I really don't. But anyways, going back to Jimmy G, Nikki Niners, my buddy Nikki, she loves those Niners, but she was in love with Jimmy G. And yeah, Jimmy G is be playing this Monday night. I'm sure Nikki will be glued to the TV, and she'll be watching Jimmy G play. Oh man, I feel sorry for her husband. I'm sure it's a timeout for the guys. Gotta go. Anyway, Kenny Pickett is off the injury report, but he's playing against the Ravens. He has a bum knee. He is good when he scrambles and gets out of the pocket and runs, but I don't know if he's going to be running too much with the Ravens. Ravens' defense is getting healthier. Their offense is getting healthier. The Pittsburgh Steelers didn't look good last week against the Houston Texans. Texans lit them up. I mean, C.J. Stroud. I told everyone, C.J. Stroud, that's your sleeper. No one listens, but you better listen now, because you guys who are 1-3 after 4 games or 0-4, it's time now to take your players and start trading with everyone. Really, seriously, guys. That's what you have to start doing. And let me explain a little bit. Guys who aren't producing. Example, Joe Burrow, you're not producing, right? Joe Mixon is not producing, right? He's an RB3 now. Joe Mixon. But guys, the guys who have those players on their football team, and you're 1-3, 0-4, right now you're fighting to get into the playoffs in fantasy football. There's only 12 more games, guys. Let's say you have 4 losses, 0-4, right? Well, let's say you went on a tear. Let's say you win 5 in a row. I don't know if you can with an 0-4 team, but let's just say you win the next 3 games, right? You're 3-4, and then you're 4-4, and then you lose 4-5, and then you win 5-5, and then you win 6-5. Now do you understand now? Now it's 11 games in, right? And you're 6-5, right? Got 6 more games. So you're going back and forth. Then you end up what? Think about it. Where are you going to end up? You have 6 more games. If you win out, you're 12-5. But guys, the top 4 are four lost teams, or so that's what I'm trying to get at. If you're 0-4 or 1-3, start trading. Trade for the people who aren't doing so well. Like if you have a Saquon Barkley on your team, like I do. I have Saquon Barkley on my. I think I only have him on my teams. I think I only have out of the 62 teams that I have, Barkley is on. I would say. I think I only have him on 3 of my teams out of 62. And I just didn't trust the Giants, and of course, look, he hurts his ankle, and, he thought he was out for the season. You saw him when he got hurt. He slams his helmet down. But anyway, that's someone to trade it up for. And what about Cooper Kupp? Hasn't been out all season. His debut is against the Eagles this weekend, right? Hamstring. If you have Cooper Kupp and you're 1-3, 0-4, trade him. But trade him for, and people will pick him up. Like a team that's like 3-1 or 4-0 or 2-2, they're going to pick him up just to strengthen their team. And they're going to give up someone like Joe Mixon or Joe Burrow, because though Joe Burrow and Joe Mixon are going to do better, guys. They're just going to get better. They just are. And you need to get better on your team, so you need to shore up your team. And that's how you do it. Now, there's I would go out and C.J. Stroud. I told everyone about C.J. Stroud before. And my buddy Marlon, he picked C.J. Stroud up. I knew it. I knew he would. Yeah, he listens. He listens. And Nico Collins, he's a true breakout. This weekend, Nico Collins. They're going into Atlanta. C.J. Stroud is hot. Guys, Nico Collins is a sleeper this weekend. Big time. Then you have Joe Mixon and Joe Burrow. Now they're playing the Arizona Cardinals in Arizona, right? Now, everyone's like, I don't know, what should we do? Who should we start? They will turn around, and there's a reason for that. Last year, if you looked at every team that played the San Francisco 49ers, every single team that played the San Francisco 49ers last year lost their next game. True stat. One more time. Every single team that played the San Francisco 49ers last year lost their next game. So they're going to be hurting. I mean, the Arizona Cardinals are going to be hurting. This is the game that you're going to have a breakout game. Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon. And this is the reason why, if you have them on your team, you need to push, and you're 1-3 or 0-4, whatever. If your record's not looking good, you better turn around and make a trade in your league, guys. Just do it. Just do it. Now, David Montgomery, huge. I picked him up on half of my teams. My 62 teams, I have David Montgomery on 30 of them. And I knew it because Jamal Williams last year, he had 33 goal line carries, scored 14 goal line touchdowns last season. I think he finished the season out with 17 touchdowns, right? Now, David Montgomery comes into town, and I'm thinking, yeah, they picked up Jamar Gibbs, but they're not going to use him on goal line. They're getting David Montgomery on goal line. And that kid, he can run. He can run. And I'm telling you something, right now, he's on a track to beat 17 touchdowns. He's on a track of 20 touchdowns or more for the year. Wow. I mean, that's huge. So David Montgomery, that would be a good, if you're trying to trade up, if you have Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon, Joe Burrows, try to trade up for David Montgomery. Try to trade. He's instant. It's going to be instant touchdown every single game. He's going to score. And it's going to better your team. And the other team, oh, wow, I got Jamar Chase now. I need a wideout. Yeah, check out teams that are like 3-1 that are hurting with wideouts, hurting for quarterbacks, whatever. And or they're sketchy. Like they have Jared Goff as their quarterback, and you have Joe Mixon. Joe Burrow. And, trade up. I'm sure they would. Now, the Dallas defense, huge, and huge. I mean, they're really good. They're really good. It's hard to start them against the San Francisco 49ers because the Niners have so many weapons. It's going to be a great game this Sunday. One of the best Sunday night football games, I think, in the year. It's going to be an awesome game to watch. Awesome game to watch. That game, it could be a breakout game. It could be a high-scoring game, or it could be like a 24-21 or 22 or something like that. I think it's going to be like a 38-32 or 35 game. It's going to be a real close game. Great game to watch, guys. CeeDee Lamb, don't panic on this Dallas Star. I just don't panic at all. I know he's had low fantasy points. I don't think he's going to have too much of an upside against the 49ers. Next 4 games, 49ers, Chargers, Rams, Eagles. Whoa. Now, I could see him doing well against the Chargers, Rams, Eagles. This is what you need. You need to know these things, guys. When you're a fantasy owner, you are an owner of a football team, so to speak, of an all-star football team, right? So you need to know each player, what teams they're playing in the next few weeks, right? 49ers, that's an ugly game for CeeDee Lamb. But the Chargers, hello, Tyreek Hill, look at that. Look what Miami did to the Chargers secondary, ate them up. So he'll eat up on Chargers. He'll score against the Rams, and then Eagles defense haven't been that good. Their backfield hasn't been that good. So he's going to do good against Chargers, Rams, and the Eagles. Guys, really, seriously, CeeDee Lamb. I mean, like I said, if you have him, you can always, and if you want him, He's not doing too well, and those fantasy owners, they'll trade. Hey, I'll give you CeeDee Lamb for David Montgomery. You're 1-3. You're keeping on CeeDee Lamb, and people go, oh, David Montgomery, I'd love to have him. 3-1. I'm 3-1 now. Oh yeah, I'll trade him. Think about it, guys, because guess what? CeeDee Lamb is not going to do well this weekend. He might not do well. He could catch a few balls, but he's not going to go off. All right, he's going to go off against the Chargers. Going to go off against the Rams. Most likely, he'll go off against the Eagles. So, you have those games. You need to know who's playing and how they're playing you. And Josh Jacobs, that's another one. Josh Jacobs is, he's, after leading the NFL in rushing last season with 340 carries, he's finally transformed into an elite receiving threat as well. And he's getting better. And, of course, Christian McCaffrey is leading the league. Bijan Robinson, Tony Pollard. These guys are all lead, but Jacobs is coming up, and he's doing much better now. He led the NFL in rushing fantasy points, and his receiving production only accounted for 28% of his fantasy totals last year. All right, so this season, the passing game accounts for 61% of his fantasy points. 61. So he goes from 28% to 61%. You got to know these things, guys, because that's how you play players. Start Josh Jacobs. Start him against the Packers, and Bijan Robinson. They're playing the Houston Texans. I'm sure he'll do well, but I don't know if he's going to do well because I think Houston is going to be scoring through the air, and Ritter is terrible. He's like the last in passing on Atlanta, and that might take Bijan Robinson right out of the picture because of the running. So you got to watch who you start this weekend, guys. That's for sure. You got to know what team they're playing. How about a chain? I picked him up as soon as he for Miami. I picked him up as soon as he had that huge game. There was so many. He was on the waiver wire of 62 teams that I have. I think I picked him up on 20 of my teams. So a third of my teams have a chain, and that's Devon a chain of the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins look good. Their offense looked good, but their defense was called out against Buffalo, and Buffalo really exposed their weakness. And I think every single other team will start exposing their weaknesses. So now Cleveland is sitting down, but guys, watch out for the next 4 weeks. Amari Cooper is set to have a vastly improved October. Only 5 players have 500 plus air yards on targets this season. Only 5. And 4 of them average 426 receiving yards. The 5th is Amari Cooper, and he has 259. The Browns receivers usually high utilize air yards. And then there's Yak after catch, which he's really does well in. But, he did have a bad one. His week 1 game was terrible, inefficient, heavily influenced by week 1. The game was a rain game. So you have to take that all in account. A lot of these guys that's what I was trying to get at. If you're 1-3, 0-4, I'm just telling you guys, you need to look at the guys who haven't done that well. Amari Cooper hasn't really projected and done well. And if he is on your team, if he, take him and trade him, and trade him to get a better team. You need to make the playoffs. This is week 5. That's your goal. You need to make the playoffs. Forget about 1, forget about 2, forget about number 1 or 2 or getting to in the top 3. You need to get in the top 4. some leagues top 6, right? But you need to get in the playoffs. You really do. And that's important. And, just remember Matthew Stafford this weekend is going to be huge. Start Matthew Stafford against believe it or not, start him against the Philadelphia Eagles, because Nakua and Puka Nakua and Cooper Kupp, oh my. Just think about that. Who are they going to cover? And Philadelphia's backfield is hurting. They're hurting, guys. Hurting. So, man, Jonathan Morales, think about trading Joe Burrows. I think you should. See who will take Joe Burrow. I think you should do that, bro. I really do. And now, hey, I think Marlin has C.J. Stroud. Try it. That would be a good trade. C.J. Stroud, go out and get C.J. Stroud for Joe Burrow. I bet you he would do it. And then it'll help you out this weekend, that's for sure. I don't know if it's too late to trade this weekend or not. Now, I mean, CMC, Christian McCaffrey, man, guy's he's a dog, man. He's a dog. You have him on your team. It's funny. I have Christian McCaffrey on 15 of my 62 teams, and all 15 are either 3-1 or 4-0. So he's huge in fantasy football. Huge in fantasy football, guys. I mean, massive. So, and if we want to look at the schedule, let's do a quick one. The Bears and the Commanders, I started G.J. Moore because, I mean, until a defense gets it, they should take out D.J. Moore, because then Fields will have no one to throw to other than Mooney. So Mooney's not going to beat your team. It's just not going to happen. With Buffalo and the Jags, Buffalo Bills defense, I would start them. Stephon Diggs is hot. I would start him. Josh Allen, start him. James Cooks, I would start him. Dawson Knox do well. Kincaid will do well. Even Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis has scored a touchdown in every game this year. Gabe Davis. So he's definitely a start. With the Houston Texans against the Falcons, I would sit. I don't know, Bijan Robinson. It's hard to sit him. It's going to be their only offense. I'd play him, but I don't know if he's going to be doing as well. Houston's offense is just so good. Their passing offenses. Start Dell, start Collins, start C.J. Stroud, and then if you have Pierce, start him as well. I think they're going to do really well. I think the Texans will be 3-2 at the end of this game. Now, you have the Panthers. I don't see anyone other than maybe Thielen on the Panthers. If you have Thielen, I'd start Thielen. It's going to be their only offense. And then with the Lions, guys, St. Brown is out for this game. Yes, St. Brown is sitting, but they have Williams, who has been he's been on the sidelines because of betting and stuff like that, his suspension. He is really, really good. Watch him deep. Oh, my God. Lions are going to really do well, and they have Williams, and that guy is just smoke. He is fast. If you have him, start him. But, don't start him over, your main players. Like, if you have DJ Moore, don't start him over that. Or Devontae Adams, don't start him over that. Because, Devontae's going to get his... We don't know what Williams is going to do. He's a breakout threat. That's for sure. Okay, so we have the Tennessee Titans and the Colts. Anthony Richardson, start him. Taylor's back. I don't know if you would start him much, but they're going to give him the ball, that's for sure. And then on the other side, Henry, start him. Tannehill, no. Man, that's another one. Hopkins. I would, I don't know how long Tannehill's going to be their quarterback, especially if they lose this game. Will Levis. Now, if Will Levis stepped in, that's when Hopkins is going to do well. That's when it's going to happen. So I would definitely, next game I have the New York Football Giants going into the Dolphins. That's an ugly game. Ugly game for the Giants. Ugly. I mean, start everyone in the Dolphins. Start the water boy. Come on. Start him. Start that water boy. Wow. And, the Dolphins are going to destroy the Giants. Destroy them. They're going to make them look so silly. It's going to be like a 63-7 or something like that. Saquon Barkley, I have him on my one team. Not two. I think I only have him on like two of my teams. I don't know if you would start him this weekend. He has that high ankle sprain. He's definitely hurting. He's not at 100%. Don't start him. But Daniel Jones, do not start. He's going to be lit up. The Miami defense isn't that good. On their corners, they aren't. Stephon Diggs proved that. But on the other hand, you are talking about Daniel Jones's offensive line. I'm just going to say the offensive line of the New York Giants is the worst in the league. And that's the reason why Daniel Jones is on his back and doing so terribly, is because he's running for his life every single play. And the Miami Dolphins love to blitz. They love that cover zero, man. They love it. Poor Daniel Jones. And then you have the New Orleans Saints going into New England. I don't think New England's going to get Trump. I mean, they got just crushed this last weekend. Crushed by the Dallas Cowboys. They looked stupid, like terrible. And I don't think they're going to look too terrible against the Saints. I really don't. I think they'll lose, but I still think the Saints. I think Kamara is going to have a huge game. If you have Alvin Kamara, start him. I don't think the Bill Belichick. I don't know what would he do. He's going to take Kamara out of the picture. Then you have Oklave, and you have, I don't know. It's going to be a tight game, and Kamara. I would start Kamara. I really would. And don't start Carr. Maybe Oklave. He'll have a great game. And then you have the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Kenny Pickett, sit him down. Najee Harris, sit him down. The defense, I got rid of the Steelers defense. That's another thing, guys. Right now, there are some defenses that are good. Like I picked up, I got rid of the Steelers defense, and I picked up the Lions. The Lions against the 0-4 Panthers. That's a pretty good pick, especially the Lions that are at home. You know what I mean? So that's what you should do with fantasy football. The Ravens, Lamar Jackson will have a good game. Edwards, that's a good pickup on the Ravens. Think about that. Edwards, he's going to have a good game. He'll have a good game. OBJ is back. He might have a good game. Zay Flowers is huge. If you have Zay Flowers, start him on your team against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then we have Joe Burrows and Joe Mixon. On the other hand, they're playing the Cardinals in Arizona. I would start Joe. I'd start Joe Mixon, but I would also put him after this game, after they have a good game, and you're let's say you win. against fantasy football. So now you're 2-3, or let's say you're 1-4, whatever. Trade him. Go out and trade him and get some talent that you need on your team. Then you have the 4-0 Eagles going into SoFi Stadium. Definitely I would start Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Nakua, Williams on the Ram, and even Higbee. I think they're going to beat the Eagles this game. I just have the strange feeling they're going to beat them. And on the other hand, with the Eagles, their running game is second to none, right? They are second in the NFL. So, start Swift, of course, Jalen Hurts. And, I mean, how can you not start those guys? They're top four guys. You know who they are. Start them. It's going to be a good game. I think the Rams are going to pull it out. And then we have the Jets and the Broncos. Wow. I mean, everyone on the Broncos sit. I'm just kidding. I just don't see the Broncos doing well against the Jets defense. Jets offense is going to do well against the Broncos because the Broncos defense is just non-existent. It just isn't, man. I mean, Broncos defense, guys, is literally terrible. Terrible. I mean, they're terrible. Their defense is 30th. There's 32 teams, guys. But the offense of the Jets are 30th. Their passing is 31st. But this game is Zach Wilson. He looked great. I would start Wilson if you have this is a good game. This is going to be a good game. I think the Jets are going to shine in this one. Breece Hall is going to have a great game. Great game. Hey, Dalvin Cook might even have a good game in this one. So watch out for the Jets. I would start Wilson and Wilson. Yeah, Zach Wilson, I would start him. Can you believe it? I'm telling people to start Zach Wilson. Wow, that's something. And if he's on the waiver, I'm sure he's on every single waiver wire. And you're looking for a breakout, and you're 1-3 or 0-4. What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? Go out and get a sleeper, and win a game. So you have the Chiefs and the Vikings. The Chiefs they just win. They're 3-1. They just win. And the Vikings are 1-3. They just lose. Kirk Cousins start Jefferson, of course. Madison. I don't know. And just Kansas City Chiefs. Of course, Patrick Mahomes. Rice. There's a sleeper for this game. Rice. I think he'll have a big game for the Kansas City Chiefs. Start Rice, the wide receiver, Rice. Next game, we have the Dallas Cowboys, San Francisco 49ers. Went all over that. Every single player on the 49ers offense start. Deebo Samuel start. Kittle start. CMC, Christian McCaffrey start. Just start. Ayuk, huge. Ayuk's so underrated. I think he's one of the best wide receivers in the league. I really do. And I think he's underrated. Start him. Dallas Cowboys defense, I think I have them in one of my leagues. I'm starting them. I don't think they're going to do well. They might have a sack or two, but I just don't see the San Francisco 49ers laying down for the Dallas Cowboys in this one. And they're at home. The Cowboys are coming into San Francisco. It's going to be a tough game for the Cowboys to even win. I think it'll be a close game. I think the Niners are going to pull it out. But I don't know. CeeDee Lamb, I don't know, man. I just don't. San Francisco's defense and the Dallas offense, it's so hard. But I would start everyone on the San Francisco 49ers. Just have to. And then last game we could talk about, if you're Green Bay Packer fans, people who have Jordan Love, start him. Aaron Jones, start him. Watson's back. He'll be at full tilt. Start him. Grab him if he's on the waiver wires. I don't think he might be, but he might be. Who knows? There are some players on Green Bay that are on the waiver wires right now. The Raiders are 1-3 for a reason, guys. But Jimmy G's back. That's huge. And, he's a winner. He's plain out winner. I don't care what anyone says, he's playing winner. If you have Jimmy G, or if you can get Jimmy G, start him. If you're, don't start him over like Patrick Mahomes or Jalen Hurts or Joe Burrows or Lamar Jackson or you know what I mean, or Josh Allen. But if you're hurting and you're a 1-3 team and you need a spark, Jimmy G would be a spark. Zach Wilson would be a spark for yourselves. Okay, guys. Hopefully, I did the start them and sit them and all that crap, and it was fun. And tune in every Saturday. I go over fantasy. I'll go over the teams. I think it's better to go over the teams against each other and tell you who's going to do well and who's not going to do well. And anyway, hope you have a wonderful Saturday, and I can't wait for tomorrow, man. It's going to be fun. Okay, guys. Happy Saturday and have a fun football Sunday. See you next week.